A young black man stops at a gas station after a long day, tired, broke, and just trying to survive. Minutes later, he's handcuffed by cops for a crime he didn't commit. His dreams? Crushed. His name? Stained. But what happens next shocks everyone. When a powerful white billionaire sees his story online, he doesn't just offer help, he offers redemption. Together, they rebuild what the world tried to destroy, proving that sometimes humanity shows up in the most unexpected places.
It was past midnight on a lonely highway outside Atlanta. The kind of night that feels endless, quiet, heavy, and tired. Malik Carter's old Honda rattled against the wind, its gas light blinking red for the third time that week. He'd just finished a double shift at the warehouse, 14 hours straight, no overtime pay, just exhaustion. He was driving home to an empty apartment, where bills waited like wolves. Malik was 28, young, ambitious once, but lately, life had beaten that out of him. His mother was sick. Rent was overdue. The world felt like it had forgotten his name. He turned up the radio to drown his thoughts. A gospel song played softly, one his mother used to hum while cleaning their tiny kitchen. For a moment, he smiled. Then, blue and red lights filled his rearview mirror. SFX, police siren. He blinked, confused. He wasn't speeding. But the siren wailed louder. Malik pulled over, heart pounding. Two officers stepped out of the cruiser, flashlights aimed at his face. One of them was Officer Dean Roberts, a tall white man with a jaw tight as steel. The other stayed silent. Roberts, license and registration. Malik handed them over, his hands trembling slightly. Malik, is there a problem, officer? Roberts didn't answer. He glanced at Malik's ID, then at the car. Roberts, step out of the vehicle. Malik hesitated. Sir. Roberts, sharper, now. Malik obeyed, stepping into the cold rain. The other officer whispered something into his radio. A voice came back. Suspect's vehicle matches description, possible robbery at Brookwood Mart, 5 miles east. Malik froze. Wait, what? Robbery? His heart sank. He hadn't even been near Brookwood. Malik, that's a mistake, I was at work all day. Before he could finish, Roberts grabbed his arm, twisting it behind his back. Roberts, you can tell it to the judge. Cold metal clicked around his wrists. Rain poured harder. People drove by slowly, phones out, recording, another black man in cuffs. Malik tried to speak, to explain, but no one listened. Inside the police car, his reflection stared back from the window, eyes wide, lips trembling. He whispered, God, why? At the station, the questions came fast. Where were you between 7 and 8? Do you know anyone named Raymond Holt? Did you take the stolen cash? Malik said no. Over and over. He begged them to call his boss, to check the cameras at the warehouse, but they didn't care. They'd already decided who he was. Hours turned into days. He was booked, fingerprinted, humiliated. News spread, his name on the local paper, his photo under a headline. Suspect arrested in armed robbery. At the warehouse, his boss fired him. At his apartment, his landlord posted an eviction notice. And when Malik finally got to make one phone call, his mother didn't answer. She was in the hospital, alone. 2 weeks later, a lawyer told him the truth, they'd found the real robber. Malik was free to go. Just like that. No apology. No compensation. Just, go home. But home didn't exist anymore. He returned to his building and found strangers living there. His belongings gone. His mother's old pictures, gone too. He went to the hospital, but she was gone as well. She'd passed 3 nights before his release. The nurse said she'd been asking for him. They couldn't reach him. Malik stood in the hallway, hands shaking, staring at the white floor tiles that blurred beneath his tears. That was the night he stopped believing life was fair. Weeks passed. He slept in his car, washed up in gas station restrooms, ate whatever he could afford. People looked at him the same way Officer Roberts had, like a problem to avoid. He tried to pray, but even God felt silent. One evening, as the sun set behind the old highway, his car sputtered and died, right in front of a rundown gas station off Route 9. He sat there for a while, staring at the flickering neon light that read "Open." He was broke. Hungry. Hopeless. And too tired to keep pretending he was okay. He grabbed his mother's necklace from the dashboard, the only thing left from her, and whispered, "Ma. I don't know how much longer I can do this." He stepped out into the night and walked toward the gas station, unaware that inside, his entire story was about to change. Because sometimes, kindness doesn't come dressed as a miracle. Sometimes, it looks like a stranger behind a counter, and a cup of coffee. It was nearly midnight when Malik's car died for good. He sat behind the wheel, head resting against the steering wheel, the sound of crickets echoing through the dark highway. The sign in front of him flickered weakly, "Keller's Gas and Mart." The kind of place that looked half alive, with one pump working and a Pepsi sign from another decade. Malik's stomach growled. He hadn't eaten since morning. He reached into his pocket, just 2 crumpled dollar bills and a few coins. Enough for gas? No. Enough for food? Maybe a snack. He got out, hoodie pulled over his head, and walked toward the small store. Inside, a radio hummed softly. The smell of gasoline and cheap coffee filled the air. Behind the counter stood a middle-aged cashier, a man with tired eyes and no patience left for the night shift. Malik gave a faint nod. "Hey, do y'all still have that $1 coffee deal?" The man looked up, scanning Malik from head to toe. His eyes narrowed. "Cashier, we closed the machine already." "Malik, please, man. I just need something warm." The cashier sighed. "Look, we don't do handouts. You can buy bottled water, that's it." Malik looked down at his coins. It wasn't enough. He nodded slowly, ashamed. "Yeah. All right." He turned to leave. Just then, a woman's voice came from the back room. "Jerry, it's fine, let him get some." "Sam, I'm the manager here. Don't worry about it." She poured him a cup of coffee, added sugar, and slid it across the counter. "Sam, here. It's on me." Malik hesitated, eyes wet. "Thank you." "Sam, no big deal. Long night?" Malik, nodding, "Longest of my life." She smiled softly. "Well, you're still standing. That's something." Outside, rain began to fall again, slow and steady. Sam locked the front door but motioned Malik to stay under the small roof near the pumps. He sat there sipping his coffee, watching the rain wash the dust off his car. Then, a small voice broke the silence. "Mom, who's that?" Malik looked up. A boy, maybe 10 years old, stood beside Sam, messy blonde hair, holding a small math book. "Sam, that's Mr. Malik. He's just passing through." "Boy, you're the guy who fixed the pump last week, right?" "Mom said someone helped her for free." Malik smiled weakly. "Yeah. I just tightened a few bolts. It was nothing." The boy grinned. "I remember. You had grease on your face. You looked like Iron Man." Malik chuckled, the first real laugh he'd had in months. "Sam, Ethan, inside. Bedtime." Ethan, whispering, "Can he come in? It's cold." Sam hesitated. She didn't know this man. Alone, middle of nowhere, she had to be careful. But something in her gut said he wasn't dangerous. Just, lost. She opened the door. All right. Just for a minute. Inside, Malik sat near the small heater while Ethan shared a half sandwich from his lunchbox. Malik, you don't have to. Ethan, Mom says you share when you have extra. Malik took the sandwich, holding back tears. It wasn't about the food, it was the first time someone had been kind to him in months. Sam watched him quietly. His clothes were worn. His nails stained with oil. But his voice, when he spoke, carried honesty. Sam, so where you headed? Malik, nowhere really. Just driving. Sam, family around? Malik hesitated, eyes distant. Had one. Lost her. Silence filled the room. The hum of the refrigerator was the only sound. Sam, I'm sorry. Malik nodded. Me too. Suddenly, the door chimed again, that familiar ding that makes your heart drop. A police cruiser had just pulled in. Through the window, Malik saw the reflection of blue lights flashing in the rain. His breath caught. It was Officer Dean Roberts, the same man who'd arrested him weeks earlier. Sam, oh, that's just Officer Roberts. He checks in sometimes. But before she finished, Malik stood, frozen. Roberts stepped inside, shaking the rain from his jacket. When his eyes landed on Malik, he paused. A flicker of recognition, then guilt. Roberts, you. The room went silent. Ethan looked between them, confused. Sam, gently, officer, everything all right? Roberts didn't answer her. He looked straight at Malik. Roberts, didn't expect to see you again. Thought you'd left town. Malik's jaw tightened. Didn't have much choice, remember? The tension was thick. Ethan stepped closer to his mom, clutching her arm. Sam, he's just having coffee, officer. That's all. Roberts smirked faintly, glancing at Malik. Roberts, sure. Just, keep an eye on your wallet. Malik took a deep breath. He wanted to speak, to defend himself, to shout, you ruined my life. But instead, he set the empty cup on the counter and whispered. Thank you for the coffee, ma'am. Then he turned and walked out into the rain. Sam stood there, speechless. The cop left soon after, pretending not to notice the shame that hung in the air. Ethan looked up at his mother. Ethan, Mom, why did he talk to him like that? Sam didn't answer. She just stared out the window, watching Malik walk toward his car, soaked and shivering, disappearing into the night. Something inside her felt heavy. Wrong. That man didn't look like a criminal. He looked like someone who'd run out of chances. And as the rain poured harder, she whispered to herself. Nobody deserves to be looked at like that. She didn't know it yet, but that night was the beginning of something. Because in a few days, a simple act of kindness, and a few seconds of gas station security footage, would change everything. For days after that night, Sam Ellis couldn't shake the look on Malik's face, that mix of humiliation and dignity, of someone trying to stay human in a world that refused to see him that way. She kept thinking about the way Officer Roberts had spoken, not just to a man, but to a soul already bruised. It didn't sit right. And something deeper bothered her, that strange flash in Robert's eyes. He hadn't looked angry, he'd looked afraid. The next morning, the sun crept through the blinds of her office at Keller's Gas and Mart. Sam sipped her coffee, lost in thought. Then she remembered something, the security camera above the counter. She opened the feed on her computer, scrolling back to the previous night. There it was, Malik standing in front of the counter, hands calm, voice soft, eyes lowered. And there was Roberts, stepping inside, saying those words. Keep an eye on your wallet. Sam replayed it. Over and over. Every time, her stomach turned tighter. Then she noticed something else. When Roberts walked in, Malik had flinched, not out of guilt, but recognition. fear. Sam leaned closer, realizing, this wasn't their first encounter. She didn't know what had happened between them, but she knew one thing: Malik wasn't who Roberts thought he was. He wasn't a threat. He was just tired. Broken. Alone. That night, after closing the store, Sam drove down the old highway. She found Malik's car parked behind a closed diner, windows fogged, trunk stuffed with old clothes. She hesitated, then knocked on the window gently. Malik stirred awake, startled. When he saw her, confusion filled his eyes. "Malik, Sam. What are you?" "Sam, I just wanted to check on you. You okay?" He rubbed his eyes. "I've been worse." She smiled faintly. "That's not saying much." Sam handed him a brown bag, a sandwich, coffee, and a small gas card. "Sam, you helped me once, remember? The pump last month. I figured I owed you one." Malik looked down, embarrassed. "You don't have to." "Sam, I know I don't. That's why it matters." For a long time, they just sat in silence. Rain tapping on the roof. Two people who barely knew each other, sharing the kind of quiet that heals. The next morning, Sam took a leap of faith. She called the local police department. "Receptionist, police department, how can I help you?" "Sam, I need to speak to someone about an officer's conduct. I have video footage." The line went quiet for a moment, then transferred her. Soon she was talking to Captain Henry Brooks, a man known for fairness, one of the few in the precinct who still believed in justice. Sam sent him the clip. Within hours, he called her back. "Brooks, Ms. Ellis, thank you for this. That young man, Malik Carter, he's been through hell." Her heart skipped. "You know him?" "Brooks, he was wrongfully arrested last month. Robbery case. We found the real suspect days later. Roberts made the arrest." He sighed heavily. It never should have happened. Sam sat there, speechless. The pieces fell into place, the fear, the bitterness, the pain in Malik's voice. He wasn't just struggling. He'd been broken by the system. A week later, Malik was sitting outside a diner, eating fries from a paper bag when a black sedan pulled up beside him. The door opened. It was Captain Brooks. He stepped out, hat in hand. "Malik Carter?" Malik stood slowly. "Yes, sir." "Brooks, you don't know me, son. But I saw something today, something that shouldn't have happened to you." Malik frowned. "If this is about the arrest, Brooks, it's about what came after. You were mistreated. And not just that night." He handed Malik an envelope, inside were papers and a small check. "Brooks, it's not much. Department still reviewing procedures, as they say. But it's a start." Malik looked down at the amount. $1,000. It wasn't money that hit him. It was the fact that someone finally said sorry. Later that day, the story hit the local news. Gas station video reveals officer's bias in wrongful arrest case. Clips from the footage aired on every channel. Roberts was placed on suspension. The town was divided, some defended the officer, but many were angry, demanding accountability. And in the middle of it all, Malik sat quietly in his car, staring at the flickering gas station sign where it all began. For the first time in months, he felt seen. That night, Sam found him again, sitting on the curb with a small smile and a steaming cup of coffee. "Sam, you okay?" "Malik, I don't know. Feels strange. Everyone's talking about me now. But not for the right reasons." "Sam, maybe it's not about the reason. Maybe it's about being heard." Malik looked up at her, eyes soft. "Malik, you didn't have to help me, Sam." "Sam, I didn't. But I saw you. And that was enough." A long pause. Then she asked, "So, what now?" Malik chuckled, shaking his head. "I don't know. Find a job, maybe. Start over. I'm just trying to believe life still has something left for me." Sam smiled. "It does. I can feel it." Soft piano swells. As Malik watched her drive away, he realized something. Not all kindness is loud. Sometimes, it's quiet, the kind that knocks on your window at night just to ask if you're okay. He looked up at the sky, the same one that had rained on his worst night, and whispered, "Thank you, whoever's still listening." He didn't know it yet, but life was listening. And soon, it would answer. It had been 2 weeks since the video went viral. 2 weeks since Malik's name had gone from nobody to headline. And in those 2 weeks, he'd learned something strange about fame. It could make people notice you. But it didn't always mean they cared. He was still sleeping in his car. Still jobless. Still carrying the same pain, only now, everyone thought they understood it. Some days, strangers would stop by to shake his hand or offer him food. Other days, they'd look at him with that quiet pity that cuts deeper than insults. But Malik didn't want sympathy. He wanted purpose. That morning, he sat by the lake with a notebook Sam had given him, pages half filled with job leads and half with dreams he barely dared to write down. He wrote slowly. "One day, I'll build something. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove I still can." He smiled faintly, then closed the book. The clouds were parting, letting light spill over the water. And for a brief second, it felt like peace. Then he heard it, a car door shutting behind him. He turned. A black Rolls-Royce, polished like a mirror, had parked near the dirt path. A man stepped out, tall, silver-haired, dressed in a coat that looked older than Malik but far more expensive. He walked with a cane, but there was strength in his stride. When he spoke, his voice carried the calm of someone who'd seen too much of the world to fear it anymore. "Stranger, Malik Carter." "Malik, yes sir." "Do I know you?" "Stranger, not yet. But I know your story." "Everyone does." Malik tensed. "If this is about the video." "Stranger, it's not about the video. It's about the man in the video." The old man extended his hand. "Stranger, my name's Marcus King." The name hit Malik like a memory. Marcus King, the reclusive billionaire philanthropist who'd vanished from the public eye years ago. Founder of King Tech, the company that built the city's first smart energy grid. Malik blinked. "Wait, the Marcus King?" The man smiled softly. "The older, more tired version, yes." He motioned to the bench. "Marcus, mind if I sit?" Malik nodded, still confused. They sat side by side, two men from different worlds, watching ducks move across the lake like tiny boats. After a long pause, Marcus spoke again. "Marcus, I saw that footage, Malik. The way you held your ground. The way you didn't lash out. Most people would have exploded." Malik exhaled. "Maybe I already did. Just not loud enough for anyone to hear." Marcus smiled at that. "That's a rare kind of strength." He leaned forward, his cane tapping softly against the ground. "Marcus, you remind me of someone I used to be, someone who thought losing everything meant losing himself. But sometimes, that's where the rebuilding begins." Malik frowned slightly. "Why are you telling me this?" Marcus turned to face him. His eyes were steady. "Marcus, because I need someone like you. And you, my boy, need a reason to keep fighting." Malik laughed dryly. "You don't even know me." "Marcus, you're right. But I know pain when I see it. And I know potential when I feel it." Marcus reached into his coat and pulled out a folded newspaper. It was the same article that had made Malik a reluctant symbol. Across the front page was his picture under the headline. Wronged, but unbroken. Marcus, you didn't ask to be a hero, but the world saw one. I've learned to listen to what the world sees. They talked for over an hour. About life, loss, and what it meant to be invisible in a world that only looked when it wanted to. Malik told him about his failed mechanic shop, the wrongful arrest, the eviction. About the nights he went hungry but still fixed strangers' cars just so he could feel useful. Marcus listened quietly, not interrupting, not judging. When Malik finished, Marcus simply said, "Marcus, you've been building things all your life, haven't you? You just forgot how valuable that was." Malik shrugged. "Doesn't pay the bills anymore." Marcus chuckled softly. "Maybe not yet." He pulled a small card from his pocket, a deep navy business card with a silver emblem of a key. "Marcus, come to this address tomorrow morning. Don't worry, it's not charity. I don't give handouts. I give chances." Malik looked at the card, hesitating. "What's this about?" Marcus smiled. "Marcus, let's just say. I want to see what happens when someone who's been overlooked finally gets the tools to build something great." That night, Malik couldn't sleep. He turned the card over and over in his hand. Was it real? A billionaire wanting to help a nobody from nowhere? Sam called him that evening. "Sam, you sound quiet. You okay?" "Malik, some old rich guy just showed up at the lake and gave me a card. Says he wants to help me." Sam, laughing, "Maybe it's one of those scams. Prince of Nigeria, kind of thing." Malik, "Nah, this one looked real. Too real." Sam's tone softened. "You gonna go?" Malik stared at the dark ceiling of his car. Malik, "Yeah. I think I have to." The next morning, he followed the address. It led him to the edge of the city, to an old industrial yard with a massive gate that read, "King Foundation, Innovation and Renewal Center." A guard waved him through. Inside, he saw a workshop filled with tools, engines, solar panels, everything gleaming under the morning light. Marcus was there, wearing a work coat instead of a suit. He looked more alive than before. "Marcus, glad you came. This place, it's for people like you. Folks the system forgot, but the world still needs." Malik looked around, awestruck. "This is unbelievable." Marcus smiled. "Marcus, no, Malik. This is what belief looks like." Over the next weeks, Malik worked there. At first cleaning tools, then fixing small machines, then leading a small team of other men and women, all people with broken stories and beautiful skills. He found something he thought he'd lost, belonging. And slowly, his name stopped being tied to that viral video. It started being tied to something new, a solar-powered generator prototype that could run for weeks without refueling. Marcus watched him one evening, pride in his eyes. "Marcus, you see, Malik, the world tried to bury you, but it forgot that you were a seed." Malik looked up from the workbench, a tear glinting in his eye. "Malik, and you watered me when no one else would." Music swells, piano and faint drums. That night, as the lights of the workshop glowed across the city skyline, Malik realized something powerful. Sometimes, the people who change your life don't show up with a warning. They show up quietly, like a sunrise, bringing light you didn't know you needed. Months had passed. Malik was no longer sleeping in his car. He was no longer the man who whispered apologies to a world that wouldn't listen. He had changed, not just in name, but in spirit. At the King Foundation, his invention, the solar generator, was already drawing attention from major energy companies. He had a small apartment now. A clean one. A desk, a window, a bed that wasn't the back seat of a car. But most nights, Malik still woke up sweating, the sound of police sirens echoing in his memory. Some scars don't fade, they just quiet down. Then, one morning, Marcus walked into the workshop with a letter in his hand. His face was serious. "Marcus, Malik, they're reopening your case." Malik, frowning, "What do you mean?" "Marcus, the department. Internal Affairs. They're pressing charges on Officer Roberts for misconduct." The words hung heavy. Malik dropped his wrench. He'd dreamed of justice, yes, but now that it was here, it didn't feel like victory. It felt like reopening an old wound. That evening, Marcus found Malik outside the workshop, sitting by the same lake where they first met. "Marcus, you don't seem happy." "Malik, I thought I'd be. But, what's the point? Nothing I say will undo what happened." "Marcus, maybe not. But your voice might stop it from happening again." Malik stared at the rippling water. "You really think they'll listen?" Marcus looked up at the fading sun. "Marcus, the world listens, when the right person speaks." 2 weeks later, Malik was in court. The courthouse that once felt like a cage now stood as a stage, not for punishment, but for truth. Reporters filled the steps. Cameras flashed. The same crowd that had once called him a criminal now wanted his comment. Inside, Officer Roberts sat at the defense table, his uniform replaced by a gray suit, his face pale, eyes hollow. He didn't look like the monster from that night, just a man realizing too late the cost of arrogance. When Malik took the stand, the room went silent. He didn't look at Roberts at first. He just spoke. Softly. Clearly. "Malik. I was tired that night. Hungry. I just stopped at a gas station for water. I didn't do anything wrong. But when they came at me, guns drawn, yelling, I froze. Because I've seen what happens when you don't freeze." He paused, voice trembling. "I tried to explain, but the truth didn't matter. My skin was already the verdict." Gasps echoed through the room. Reporters scribbled, cameras clicked. But Malik didn't speak with anger. He spoke with the weary calm of someone who had cried all his tears already. "I don't hate Officer Roberts. I hate what the system taught him. That fear can come before facts. That power needs no proof." He finally turned toward Roberts. "I forgive you. Not because you deserve it. But because I do. I won't let your mistake be the cage that keeps me angry forever." The courtroom was still. Even Roberts' lawyer lowered his eyes. When the verdict came, Roberts was found guilty of wrongful arrest, excessive force, and falsifying evidence. He lost his badge. But Malik didn't smile. He just nodded slowly, as if laying a ghost to rest. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed him. Microphones flashed in his face. "Reporter, Malik. How does it feel to finally get justice?" He thought for a moment. "Malik, justice isn't when one man falls. It's when the next one learns to stand different." Later that night, Malik sat with Marcus on the foundation balcony, city lights glowing below. "Marcus, you handled yourself with grace today." "Malik, grace doesn't pay rent." Marcus laughed softly. "Maybe not. But it opens doors." He handed Malik an envelope. Inside, a partnership agreement. Marcus had decided to make Malik co-founder of their new project. The Renewable Initiative. A program to employ formerly incarcerated and marginalized individuals in clean energy innovation. Malik stared at the paper, speechless. "Malik, why me?" "Marcus, because you lived the story that program is built for." He smiled. "And because you'll make sure it stays human." That year, Malik's invention was showcased at a major tech expo. He stood on stage beside Marcus, cameras flashing again, this time, for a different reason. A news anchor's voice narrated the segment that followed. From wrongfully arrested mechanic to co-founder of a billion-dollar renewable energy project, Malik Carter's story has become a beacon of hope and reform. As the applause rose, Malik looked up at the crowd, white, black, young, old, all clapping together. And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel small. He didn't feel invisible. He felt seen. But the story didn't end with fame or money. It ended quietly, the way kindness often does. One evening, Malik drove back to that same gas station where everything began. The place was remodeled now, brighter, safer. He parked, stepped out, and looked at the pumps, the spot where his world once shattered. A young man behind the counter looked up and smiled. "Cashier, hey, aren't you that guy from the news? The one with the solar thing?" Malik smiled. "Yeah. I guess that's me." "Cashier, man, I saw what they did to you. That was messed up. But seeing how you turned out, that gives people like me hope." Malik's throat tightened. He nodded, slipping a $20 bill on the counter. "Malik, keep it. For when someone else needs a break." The young man frowned. "You sure?" Malik smiled faintly. "Trust me. Kindness travels. Music swells, emotional piano with slow strings." As Malik walked out into the evening light, the wind carried the soft hum of traffic and laughter in the distance. The city felt alive again, not against him, but with him. And somewhere far away, Marcus watched from his balcony, a proud smile on his face. He lost everything once, Marcus whispered to himself. But when kindness found him, he discovered what everything really meant. Fade out. The screen lingers on a final line. Sometimes, the rescue you need doesn't come from the world, it comes from the moment the world finally sees you.